Hello everyone and welcome to an incredible game that was played in round 2 in the London Chess Classic 2025. You will think Christmas came very early this year. You probably thought that after seeing my yesterday's video, that brilliant attack by Rose Atwell. If you haven't, do check it out. You will not be sorry. It's one of the best attacks we've ever seen. And yeah, this game is a beautiful follow-up to that. You know, guys, when Nikolas is playing, I'm watching, and if he's playing well, you guys are watching as well. Yeah, he's facing a very, very strong opponent here, Gawain Jones. They're fairly similar in rating, but you know my opinion. I think Nikolas is 2750 material, and his rating just hasn't caught up yet. And I think this game will be, maybe give us a bit more insight into that. But yeah, let's check it out. And for those of you who still haven't, the Black Friday discounted Lotus is still going on. You have 24 hours to capitalize on that. First link in the description below. Download Lotus Chess, and you can have basically a 50% discount forever if you choose so. But yeah, let's check it out. Nikolas with white opens with pawn to d4. We have pawn to d5 by Gawain, knight f3. We have pawn to e6 and pawn to c4. And usually you will see a knight to f6, some sort of a standard Queen's Gambit decline. You could go pawn to c6, the Slav defense c5. You could go for the Tatar structure. But here we have pawn to a6. And this is the fourth most popular continuation, but one very often used by, let's say, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura. So it's a nice way to throw in, a surprise to your opponent. We have C captures on d5, and usually it's met with g3, but here we have the very straightforward capture in the center. We have captures, knight c3, and knight to f6. We have bishop to g5, bishop to e6, and pawn to e3, knight bd7, and bishop to d3. Again, all fairly standard. Bishop to d6 is the main move here. Bishop to e7 can also be played, but even though it's the engine says it's perfectly fine, it kind of doesn't seem necessary with the knights covering each other. So pawn to c6, and now again castle's kingside has been played here. Pawn to h3 has been played here. We have the unprovoked bishop to h4. And what do you make of this? It seems like a move that, why would you play it? But it has been played in a very, very top-level game. Timur Rajabov played it against Magnus Carlsen in the FTX Crypto Cup of 2021. Their game ended in a draw. But their game continued with bishop to d6. This is what Magnus played. Here we have pawn to h6, and it is now, as of move 9, that we have a completely new game. Let's see what happens. Knight to d2. Okay. You might think, okay, the knight may be coming to b3, then maybe c5, maybe a5, maybe this knight is coming to a4, b6, a4, c5, something like that. Maybe you're just preparing castles, f3, e4. So many ideas are possible here. We have bishop to d6, and now castles kingside. And you might be thinking, oh, can't we just capture with check, give a check, and pick up that bishop on h4? Well, no, but I've actually seen even maybe 1,800 players, or 1,800 rated players that do this. They will capture, and then they'll give a check, and then they'll completely disregard that the white queen can capture, even though the knight is defended, because the black queen is hanging as well. And if you follow this through, you're just going to be down a full piece. As you can see, white is up a knight. Okay, maybe a bit of a silly line to show, but, there are viewers of different strength. But pawn to g5. Gawain Jones is not afraid of a bar fight. We have bishop to g3. Bishop captures, and now not h captures, but rather f captures on g3. Nikolas wants that open f file, or rather semi-open f file, and there's really nothing you can do to stop him from getting it. And now you should just continue with queen to e7. Or queen to c7. The idea is that you want to get your queen to d6, you want to castle kingside, and then you want to get this rook to e8. And with that, black has a very, very nice position. But here, Gawain played pawn to g4, which is a terrible, terrible positional decision. And it's maybe not that easy to take advantage of, but just for fun, look at this knight on c3. Now, you might be thinking, okay, in the future, maybe the knight comes to b6, although we have to prepare that. Maybe it comes to c5, but okay, we can always prepare that with pawn to b4, maybe knight a4, get the knight to c5. Maybe the knight will just remain on c3 and prepare for a future pawn to e4 breakthrough. So it's not a terrible knight. But playing pawn to g4 gives this knight so much potential. You've freed up the f4 square, and this is what this game is about. So it's about the potential of this knight reaching the f4 square, but you never really have to do it. You know, remember the threat is stronger than the execution. So knight e2 played, preparing knight to f4, and now queen b6, putting pressure on the b2 pawn. And you're probably thinking, okay, now Nikolas plays knight f4, gives up the b2 pawn, and some sort of a, crazy game occurs. But no, he plays pawn to b4. And this is another reason why I decided to show this game, or rather, there are many reasons why I decided to show this game. I knew I wouldn't be disappointed. That's for sure. And the problem with pawn to d4 for black is that the only good move is to capture it. You have to capture it, you have to allow rook b1, you have to move your queen somewhere, you have to allow rook captures on b7, and then you castle kingside, and okay, white is a little bit better, we continue the game. But after b4, Gawain said, okay, that's a, move that doesn't really do all that much, let's continue our attack on the king side. h5, h4, open up the h file, and then, do some damage to the white king. And next move, probably the fifth reason why I've decided to show this game is completely unreal. It's as if Nikolas possesses some sort of chess clairvoyance that few people do, because knight f4, I mean, who doesn't play knight f4 here? It's even the one of the top moves recommended by the engine. It's such an easy move to make, but no, Nikolas makes the top move recommended by the engine, not even rook to b1, and it's a fine move. You can defend your pawn if you want to, but no, he plays queen to e1, and queen to e1 is an extremely difficult to understand move. You want to get your queen to f2, which again isn't all that simple to understand because the knights are defending each other, the bishop is guarding f7, but the knight can come to f4, you can eliminate the bishop, then f7 becomes weak. All in all, it's a very nice way to activate your queen. The queen can access many squares here. But also what queen to e1 does is it sets such a disgusting trap that obviously a very, very strong grandmaster like Gawain Jones missed. He plays queen captures on b4. And while this move doesn't lose the game on the spot, it would take inhuman resources to survive this position. Rook to b1, now comes queen to a3, and okay, the bishop is attacked. What do you play here? You're probably thinking, okay, now we play knight f4. The bishop is defended, we have the beautiful knight, we can capture on e6, we prepare queen to f2. This is, what's happening. But no, look at what Nikolas plays. Rook to b3. He invites the capture on a2, and it seems like there is absolutely nothing wrong with this move. Last hope for Gawain is to go back. Queen to d6, queen to e7, even queen to f8 would somewhat keep him in the game. But no, he played queen captures on a2, and now he is lost. But to figure this one out, you would have to be a 2700 plus player, I would say. Just for fun, feel free to pause the video and solve the position while I give you a couple of seconds. Yes, believe it or not, the move is not rook captures on b7, although it's not a bad move to play. Even bishop to b1, that's not a bad move to play. But queen to c1 is the move that wins the game. And now it becomes even more confusing for you, I imagine, because rook a3 traps the queen, but the queen can just move, so we're not really trapping the queen here. Queen to a5, Gawain just moves the queen, and now the question is, what was the point of this whole maneuver? Why did you give black two connected pass pawns? What are we even doing here? Rook captures on b7. And here's the point. Now everything is hanging. There's really not all that much you can play. Both of the rooks are attacking the black king, and let's say you castle kingside. Is this even a possibility? Are we just, do you capture on c6? What do you play here? No, you play pawn to e4, and the black king is getting checkmated. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. Even by playing top move recommended by the engine as a defense for black. Let's say captures, let's say knight captures, bishop captures, and how do you stop the queen from entering the game? There's really no way to do it. Rook fb8, you want to maybe create some room for the king here. Look at this. Rook captures on d7. Disgustingly beautiful. Bishop captures, queen to h6, and that's it. There's no defense. Either queen h7 check, queen f7 checkmate, or even bishop h7 check, king h8, bishop g6, then queen h7, queen f7. it's falling apart for black. So after rook captures on b7, rook to c8 was played. Okay, you defend on c6, but it doesn't really help your cause. And now you could finally play that knight to f4 maneuver, but no. Like I said, the threat is stronger than the execution. Nikolas goes pawn to e4. It's time to open up the position. The black king is in the center of the board, and there is nothing Gawain can do. He goes pawn to c5, but it's not really a threat. Even the rook on c8 is undefended. Nikolas just goes pawn to e5, knight to g8, and now the position is so beautiful that Nikolas played knight b3, which is a very useful move. You get the knight to b3, you will go to c5. It comes with tempo. It attacks the queen on a5. But just for fun, I will show rook captures on f7 because it's there. And now after bishop captures, bishop to f5. Going after the knight, rook d8, pawn to e6. You know, you just fall apart. This is beautiful. But okay, Nikolas played knight b3. It's you know, not better or worse because everything is winning here for white. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted you to see it. Queen back to d8. Knight captures on c5, and now knight to e7, trying to create some sort of a defense here. Knight coming to c6 maybe, but it doesn't help. Finally, knight to f4, the execution. We have knight captures on c5, d captures on c5, and the rook to c6, now preventing the pawn from going forward and helping out with the defense of the bishop. But now, you know, you just brute force it. Knight captures on e6, rook captures on e6, and look at this, queen g5. The threat is a terrible one. Queen g7, and there's not all that much you can do here. For example, if you go knight c6, you want to trade queens, just queen g7, attacking the rook. Also, there's a triple attack on the f7 pawn, and not a lot you can do about this. Of course, if rook to g8, you can just play queen captures on a5. You can even play rook captures on e7. This is also a possibility. If queen captures, you pick up the rook. If the rook captures, then you just pick up the rook on g8. So nothing really for you to do here. So after queen g5, queen to c8, one last attempt by Gawain, putting pressure on the rook on b7, pawn to c6. And again, there's nothing you can do. The knight captures, of course, is impossible. Then the f7 pawn falls. So rook to f8 was played, defending the f7 pawn, now hoping for knight captures on c6. But Nikolas says, now you can have it. Bishop captures on a6. And it doesn't matter what you play, because if, of course, knight captures, then you can just play rook, or rather, no. This was even played in the game. But if queen captures, bishop to b5 just wins the queen on the spot, so you can't play that. So knight captures on c6 was played for the lack of a better move. And now look at this. Rook f captures on f7. And there's nothing more to be done here. Rook captures on f7. And interestingly, there's only one way that wins convincingly here for white. I'm not sure if it's obvious. For fun, feel free to pause the video and win the game for Nikolas while I give you a couple of seconds. Yes, the move that forces instant resignation is rook captures on f7. And there's nothing more to be done here. Queen to g8 will be checkmate, and you could go king captures on f7, give up the queen, and, you know, brawl it out a bit more, but it's really, you know, just waiting for the inevitable. So here, in situations like these, you see who the real chess players are. Gawain Jones was an incredible sport here, and he played queen captures on a6, allowing checkmate to appear on the board, which almost no one does because you resign, you know, you don't want the checkmate to happen on the board, but it is the sign of a true gentleman to allow the checkmate to happen on the board. Queen to g8, Nikolas played this, and he was in this position on move 33 that Gawain Jones got checkmated. So really an incredible game, and why I definitely think Nikolas is 27 plus 100 material, even 2750, and it's only a matter of time. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Probably this time next year we're going to be looking at a 27 plus 100 Nikolas. But yeah, playing incredible chess. And I know it's not about the rating. It's about playing incredible chess. And this is what incredible chess looks like. And also one of the reasons why I'm always happy to show a Nikolas game. But yeah, if you haven't seen yesterday's game, Rose Atwell's attack, that was, you know, incredibly Morphe-like. Do check it out. You will not be sorry. My previous video, you know, it's not a bad way to spend a few minutes of your time. Really hope you enjoyed it. I know I have. Always a privilege to cover such games. It is why I have this channel. I would like to thank Mikhail Baisalia, Andrea Sorcinelli, Eddie Fair, Brian Pratt, and David Gasparian for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And remember, if you still haven't, first link in the description below, download Lotus Chess. It is the best possible resource to improve your chess and, start improving. It's that simple. See you soon.